thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. First of all, I, of course, understand that you do not have a college degree, yet here you are, CEO of a major company. Tell us about that.
Well, in 1973, I went to an employment agency. The only thing that I was really qualified for was a receptionist or a file clerk, because I didn't take typing in high school, which I should have. So we started talking, and the counselor said, you know, there are things that you're a people person, and there are things other than clerical work that you could do. Then she made me an offer to come and work with her in the agency. That was in 1973, and it was with another company. In '75, I came to work here for the King companies, and have been there ever since.
Paula, you touched on this earlier, but if you could elaborate a little bit more about what skills you had coming into this experience.
I had a high school education, no typing skills, but what I felt was good people skills, and that was it.
Well, how do you define a temporary worker?
It's many things to many people, but for the most part, you have two different types of temporaries. One is without a position right now for whatever reason. Either they just moved here, their company closed, they got laid off. The other reason is that they want to work temporary for some reason. Either their children are in high school or not high school, but in grade school, and they want to be home hours with them. They don't need to work, but want to work for their sanity. That type of a person.
So, Paul, let me understand this, if I may. Applicants are interviewed by your company and then placed with a client provider on a contract and then paid a wage by your company?
That's correct. And the wage is generally similar to that they can make in a permanent position, but it's close to it, and sometimes it has benefits to it and sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the client company.
So as CEO of a major company, what would you tell someone who wanted to become a temporary worker?
You get to look at some companies that maybe you wouldn't ordinarily be able to look at, be inside, and you know, if you are looking for a permanent position, you can make a decision as to if that's the company you want to work for or not. I think that not only are you able to look at the company, but the company is also able to look at you. That's why it's very, very important that an applicant present themselves very well when they're working on a temporary assignment. Sometimes people go in with the idea that it's only temporary. It's not only temporary. This may be your future, and I don't think a lot of people realize that.
So a person should look the part of the job that they are applying for. That makes perfect sense. Paul, let me ask you, what type of skills do you look for?
Basically, we look for, number one, computer skills, number two, people and communication skills. There's a lot of positions today that are dealing with the public, and they want employees that are nice, genuinely nice people to help their clients and their customers. Everyone is vying for that customer today or that client. So the employees are an extension of the company and they have to act as such. Another thing I'd like to point out is that you need to sell yourself on the interview. If there are any other skills or experiences that you have that maybe the interviewer hasn't asked, make sure you bring those out. It may not be something that you need as far as qualifications for the position. However, it may be something that that company utilizes down the road, and they may say, geez, we don't need that right now, but that is something we would need in the future. So that may give you another up on another applicant.
Let's talk a little bit about benefits versus a full-time situation. Do temporaries get benefits?
Yes, they do. They get two types of benefits. A temporary that is only working for a short period of time for whatever reason, either to get another position or they've just moved here and they want to try different companies. They have what we call standard benefits, the holiday pay, the vacation pay. Some companies also offer a temporary insurance policy, and that is for like 30, 60, or 90 days. You can purchase that policy at a group rate. On the other hand, there are some long-term contingent workers that are either on a an assignment that is scheduled to be for a year or more, or an indefinite period of time. Those employees we have here at the King Companies on our regular insurance policy, and they have all of the benefits that we have.
Well, of course, Paula, top on everybody's mind is pay. You've referenced it yourself. That's why you're where you are today. Let's discuss that a little bit. How does the pay compare to other jobs?
We have found that the pay is fairly similar to a regular worker. Now, there's a lot of people out there that try and compare what they're doing today as a secretary to the person that's sitting aside of them that's been with that bank for 10 years in a similar or the same position. You can't compare those two because longevity has something to do with it. But I think skill-wise, the pay is fairly similar.
Paula, this sounds like a good opportunity for a lot of people. I've got to ask you two questions here. It's a two-parter. Number one, do temporary workers seek to make a career out of being a temporary worker? And then secondly, what type of opportunities are out there for someone as a temporary worker to be placed in, say, a permanent position?
A lot of people do make careers out of being temporary workers, and as I said before, it depends on why they are driven to being a temporary. And in fact, with the King Companies, we have a person at one of our satellite offices that is a career temporary.
Okay.
Her reason is that her husband travels extensively in his position, and she would like to travel with him. So she works when she wants to work. She always has a job with us. She recruits for one of our largest clients, and she kind of arranges those trips around her recruiting for that client. The second part of your question was?
The second part was, what about the opportunities that exist for a temporary worker to be placed in a full-time position?
They're excellent. For some of those same reasons that I previously stated, the employee applicant would get a look at the company, the people that they employ. They're going to hear things, they're going to see things that may say, yes, I do want to work for this company, or no, I don't. They also are being observed by others who are looking at this person saying, she's a great worker, and we have this position that I know is coming available in a couple of weeks, so let's talk to her about it. I'd like to introduce Sherry to you. She worked temporary for us, and we got such excellent references on her from our temporary clients that we decided to hire her here in our office. And she started off as a recruiter with us, high school graduate, no college, but she had the same thing that I noticed in myself years ago, and that was the desire to make money. And she wanted to know that if she did a good job, she was going to be able to name her own salary. And she today is operations manager for the King Companies. So she is another good example of someone who has made it.
I've been with the King Agency for 13 years, and I came here from out of town. Started as a temporary employee, wanting to check out the town and what it had to offer. My advice is to check out different companies, find your niche. All you have to do is work hard, enjoy people, and you will have tremendous success, just like I did.
Paula, this has been a treat. I want to thank you not only for taking the time, but sharing your professional and personal background with us. Thank you so very much. It's been a treat. As you just saw, Philadelphia, the temporary industry has come a long way. There are lots of jobs and opportunities available to people who are diligent, able to learn quickly, and make the most of their experience on the job. Now, learning new experiences, learning new skills, discovering new opportunities will help you become a more well-rounded, more valuable employee on the job.
That was a great story, Al. We discovered many great aspects of a career as a temporary. When we come back, we'll meet some sailors of the United States Navy. We'll hear their stories and learn the benefits of a career in the military.